Part 2 of our piecewise review is over evaluating functions. So we're going to tie in evaluating and composition of functions here. I have three functions, h of x, g of x are both equations, and f is a graph. The first problem says to find g of h of negative 5. So remember when we did composition of functions, we start on the inside part, h of negative 5. So h of negative 5 is here. Now negative 5 falls into, let's see, the domain between negative 9 and negative 1. Negative 5 is in that x. So the output there is 8. So constant function, that's an easy one. Now I take g of 8. Remember, I put that function into the left, and I go to g. G over here, 8 is in this bottom domain. It's greater than 2. So I'm going to plug 8 in for x. So I'll have 8 minus 1, which equals 7. And that's your first problem. All right, the second one here says h of g of 2. This time I'm starting with g. So g of 2. And 2 is in both inequalities, but it's actually in the bottom domain because it's equal to 2. So I'll put 2 in for x there. 2 minus 1 is 1. I put that value into the left function of h. H is back over here on the left. So I find 1. 1 falls in this middle domain. It's between negative 1 and 3. So I'll put 1 into this function of negative 2x plus 4. So I'll have negative 2 plus 4, which equals 2. All right, C. H of g of 5. So g of 5 is what I do first. And 5 is in this bottom part of the domain. Again, it's bigger than 4. So I'll have 5 minus 1, which equals 4. Put that into the function of h. 4 is in this bottom domain as well. It's greater than 3. So I'll have the absolute value of 4 minus 10. Well, 4 minus 10 is negative 6, and the absolute value of negative 6 is positive 6. All right, finally, for this slide, I'm sorry, not finally for the whole thing, D is f of g of negative 3. So I'm going to start with g again, g of negative 3. And negative 3 falls in the top domain. It is less than 2. Be careful here. I'm going to put negative 3 in parentheses and square it. So that gives me 9 squared plus 1, which is 10. I'm going to take that 10 and put it into the function of f. So f is the graph here. I go to where x is 10. I go up onto my graph, and the output is 3. All right, a few more here. Same functions. Let's start with E. Let's see if I can move this. I can move that up a little bit. All right, I have f of 8. So I'm actually using f twice here. I'll start with f of 8. And I go to where 8 is the input. I go up onto my graph here, and that output is 4. Now, since I'm using f again, I'm going to put 4 back into f. So here I'm at 4. I have 2 open dots. There's no closed dot at 4. So that means there's no value, and I will write the empty set symbol. But you could also write no value or no answer. F, g of f of negative 4. So I start with f of negative 4. So I'm going to put negative 4 in for x here. I get an output of negative 2. Then I put that negative 2 into g. So negative 2 here falls in this top domain. It's less than 2. So I'll have negative 2 in parentheses squared plus 1, which gives me 5. That's my final answer. All right, 2 more for this part. G of h of 3. So when I start here with h of 3, 3 falls, let's see, into this last bottom domain. It's equal to 3. So I'm going to put 3 into that absolute value function. The absolute value of 3 minus 10 is the absolute value of negative 7, which equals positive 7. I'm going to then put that positive 7 into g. So I'll have g of 7 here. If I scroll back up, 7 falls into this bottom domain because it's greater than 2. So we'll have 7 minus 1, which equals 6. Alright, we're going to use h for both functions here. So I have h of 9. Alright, so h of 9, that first 9 falls into this bottom part. It's greater than 3. So I'll have the absolute value of 9 minus 10, which is the absolute value of negative 1, which equals 1. So now h of 1, let's find where 1 falls here. 1 is in between negative 1 and 3. So now I'm using that middle equation. I'll have negative 2 times 1 plus 4, which gives me an output of 2. Alright, so there's lots of composition there, lots of evaluating. Hopefully that's not too bad for you. If you have any other questions, ask your teacher.